I am live. Greetings, divine souls. Okay, I'm just closing all other tabs in my computer to make sure that we have the best video quality. Yep, here it is. Hello, beloved community. I sat down on the floor here to do this live stream when I was thinking how much I need a massage. Oh, just voicing it into the quantum space that it's time to get a massage. So I am very thrilled to be with you and happy spring. Right now it is April 4th and we just had the new moon in Aries. And I'm really excited to invite you every Monday until Spirit guides me to invite you to contemplate these mystical topics together with me. And first topic is all about reality co-creation principles, also known as manifestation. Okay, and welcome if you're just joining. Take a look at the sound. How's the sound? Let me know in the comments where you're joining from. And I am going to take a look here to make sure that we have the right speed of internet. Oh, it looks really good. Okay, perfect. Okay, well, let me know who is there with me on this live stream. I wish I could see your comments, but I think I can see it from here. All right, well, I just have returned from magical land of Peru, where I was there 2.5 weeks ago. It feels like a month ago, beloveds. And it's been a very powerful experience. And everything I do in my life is based on these ancient principles of weaving your dream reality into existence. So I wanted to open up this conversation because if you are joining, if you are attracted to this topic, now we have something in common, you and I. And you know what's that in common? We both believe there is so much to life than what we can see. And I decided to call these transmissions Mystical Mondays to give us all a vibrational boost on a Monday. Maybe you're going to watch this live together with me. Maybe you're going to watch this as a replay. But I find whenever I create the time to attend to my soul, to remind myself what's important, and especially to do it in the beginning of the week, you know, we set this vibrational tone into this new week that is opening for us, right? I look at every new day and every new week and every new month as a brand new canvas that we can paint on that canvas. We can paint a story from the past, a story of struggle or worry or anxiety or fear of unknown, or we can begin to add some new colors into our life, a color of inspired vision, a color of belief in our dreams, a color in the willingness to rise up in our courage, in our creativity, and our playfulness, of course. So this is what this conversation is about. And why did I call it Mystical Mondays? Well, because it takes that mystical awareness, right? And let's decode the word mystical. Mystical is that part in our being that believes in the sacred, that believes in the magical, that believes in supernatural, super conscious, right? And it takes an innocence of the heart to believe in the magical, to believe in miracles, to believe in possibilities, and to create from that place, right, loves? So that's what mystical is all about, our willingness to open our eyes and to see the sacred in the ordinary. So if you just joined, welcome, welcome. How is the connection is there? Oh, it looks really good. Now I see, now I see your comments, beloveds. Thank you so much. Please uh, keep sharing. I see London, I see San Diego, I see Mexico and Germany. So good to be with you. And beloveds, you know, here's the thing. We are all messengers for each other. What I will be sharing today, nothing is planned. So this is direct transmission, what spirit wants to share through me, right? And what I've discovered on this path, that we incarnate in these soul groups. And when you resonate with a message, it means it's relevant for you. It's a great reminder. It's encouragement, right? So I'll share a few ideas that will feel like a reminder for you, and maybe there will be a couple very simple practices that I can offer you that you can start implementing right away, right? So how do we begin to remember that we came to this planet for a very active participation with this 3D reality? And the 3D reality is not that terrible, right? I know, it's very exciting to keep upgrading our vibration and to keep increasing the levels of our consciousness and opening our hearts. But for many reasons, we chose to incarnate in the planet of physical density. We chose to incarnate in this matter and to bring spiritual awakening into the matter. So I begin always with right here and right now. And the very first principle of creating your dream reality is this one, is appreciation of your current reality with your full heart. We can never create anything new if we are in resistance with what is. Very powerful idea, very simple reminder. But I remember when I lived in the desert, beloveds, and I spent 8 years in the desert living in Las Vegas. And it was a boot camp of my life. And for the last 3 years that I was there, I had this deep call towards the ocean and towards living in a place of salty air and walking on the beach with my bare feet. And my logical mind had no clue how to create it, right? I had a vision, I had a desire, and there's actually 4 steps to coming into alignment with your dream. The first step is desire, right? To become really honest about what is your deepest desire. Do you desire to live in an environment that lights you up to wake up every day? Do you desire the most loving, spirit-based partnership, romantic partnership that you're inspired by? Do you desire to bring your gifts in a much bigger way in the world? Maybe you outgrew your local community where you're the best kept secret and you want to go to big stages. What is your desire? What is your desire? And how do we know that it's a true desire? When you touch it with your feelings, you will tear up. You will get emotional. It's a dream that deeply matters to you, right? So connecting to the true desire is not just like a fleeting, oh, this would be lovely to create. No, a true desire, it just, it's so deep in your soul that you cannot stop desiring it, right? So that's the first step. The second step is intention, right? Intention, where you begin to focus your mind on that desire, right? And you begin to ask yourself, who do I get to become? That this desire is a natural result of me taking a particular direction, a particular path in life. The third step is allowance, right? Allowance. And allowance is where you are living in this sweet acceptance of how long that manifestation is meant to take. A lot of times when I see these these you know promises online that come out from the culture of this instant gratification, I cringe a little bit, because what I have noticed, beloveds, anything that is worthwhile to create takes time. Look at nature. Nature takes 1 year to create something, right? From planting a seed in March or in April. Right now is the time to plant seeds of your intentions, right? There's a whole cycle. So the deeper desire, the deeper the dream, the more alchemy it will require to bring forth, right? You create it, you build it with your intention, with your allowance, and with your deepest trust. So allowance is your ability to be fluid and flexible, right? There is no rigidity in allowance. Allowance is your inner receptivity. You hold an intention like a precious jewel on the altar of your heart, and you listen to the voice of your soul that says, you know what? Learn this skill, read this book, serve that person, give selflessly. One thing that I have noticed 1,000 times in my life, that the opportunities that I prayed for, that I called for, they always would find me when I was in service to others. Opportunities never found me when I would be hiding behind my fears or procrastinating or doing something that is not the best use of my time, right? Opportunities will find us when we are focused on giving back and serving to others. So allowance, it's a very mystical quality. And if you have spent a lot of your life through mental activity and through lots of doing and lots of action, allowance, really to learn how to allow take a little bit of practice. It definitely took some practice for me, right? But it's this willingness to be flexible and a willingness to trust how your path will unfold, and a willingness to trust that your path is unique to you, right? The way you will be guided by your soul. And then surrender is the fourth component. And I'm going to name all 4 steps, right? We have desire, we have intention, allowance, and surrender, right? And surrender is learning the power of detachment, right? Where you are at peace. You know how to access peace, how to access love, how to access joy, independently of the outcome that shows up, when you hold that intention. You're willing to be surprised by the mystery of your life, which is so, so beautiful. If this resonates with you, loves, let me know. I really hope that I really hope the internet connection is going well here. But these are the brush strokes, right? And I found, I found that when we remember these four simple principles, then we can bring that playfulness, that sense of joy, right? And yesterday I had a conversation with somebody dear to my heart, and we were talking about this reality co-creation principles. And I said, at this stage of my path, I don't create anything because I want to achieve a particular goal. I'm not driven by goals anymore. I'm inspired by the play of possibilities, right? So it's a completely different vibrational point, right? So it's you begin to ask yourself, well, if I am a soul, came here to this planet of physical density, is because on the level of the soul, I knew this would be an exciting adventure, right? It's an exciting adventure, and I'm here to remember my abilities to co-create with the quantum field. So it's really, really powerful to play with possibilities, to ask yourself what this week is going to be about for me, right? And when I think about intention, that second point, I often think about, it's like holding an arrow, like an archer, holding an arrow with your mind, right? Where you can focus on very specific objectives, or you can focus on the quality of being that you're aiming to experience. I found this is way, way, way more powerful to create and to manifest when you go after, well, what would I love to feel as a result of that manifestation? Again, this may feel like a reminder for you, right? Like, oh, Katerina, I have heard this before. But it's one thing to hear it, and it's one thing to live it, and to practice it, and to remember it, right? So when you look at the month, this is how I plan every month. I look at the month of April, and April is under the sign of Aries. Aries is one of the first fire signs in the zodiac, right? So we all gonna feel the energy of Aries, which is leadership, not being afraid to go for it, right? There's certain level of badassness in Aries. If you ever met are there any Arises who are listening right now with me? I am quite surrounded by Aries, especially Aries women. They're powerful, powerful beings, but you don't even have to be an Aries to feel the power of that energy in April, right? And it's all about leadership as well. And it's one thing to lead through the mind, right? And it's another thing to lead through your entire being, when your soul, your mind, and your heart all in alignment. So when you consider what is important for you this month, I invite you to choose 2 to 3 qualities, frequencies that you'd love to really become intentional about experiencing, right? So what are those qualities? Maybe it's playfulness for you. Maybe it's a joyful manifestation. Maybe it's effortless synchronicity. What are the qualities, right? And then you write them down, because you will forget. Don't trust your memory. You will forget. You get inspired in the moment, and then an hour later you don't remember what this live stream was about, right? So you want to write it down, and you want to keep it somewhere where you can see it. So you orient your mind to what's important for you to experience and to cultivate. Are you still with me? So good to be with you, beloveds. So good to be with you. Here we are, back in California after, going through such mystical places. But I see the quality of the live stream. What is going on here? Ah, it's a little bit of a frustrating feeling for me because I don't see the high quality for some reason. Well, we're just gonna go with it. Maybe I'll make it shorter and then use Zoom to do another take. Oh, it looks like it gets clear. Okay. Let's keep going. Let's keep going. So so basically, when we open a conversation on such topic as how do we co-create, you see, I don't say create. I really see this as a co-creative part, intelligent space with the reality that we call a quantum field, right? So I look at it as something that has intelligence, high level, supreme level of intelligence, right? That has organizing power, that has its own higher will, and I am part of that reality, right? So then what it takes is to come into this intimate relationship with that reality, and beginning to use the power of your mind, right, to focus on the qualities that you desire to activate within yourself, and then bring it into your life, because we create everything from within. So let's just take one quality that so many people value a lot, such as abundance, right? In order for us to really create an abundant life, we get to create an abundant consciousness. Again, you may say, Katerina, this is a reminder, but let's really anchor that. Really anchor that. Every single day, this gets to be an intention. If you desire to live an abundant life, you will be willing to commit to pull out all the weeds of your consciousness that it's called money worry, an anxiety about tomorrow, fear of investing in yourself, right? Or hoarding your resources out of fear. All of that gets to be examined so you can clear your consciousness from any limiting beliefs, and you can start by sitting down. This is a simple practice, sitting down and journaling my top beliefs around money, right? My top beliefs about abundance, my top beliefs about prosperity. If we don't take the time to examine what's in there, it will continue to broadcast a very powerful signal, right? So it starts with this looking within. What are my beliefs about this topic, right? And what do I choose to believe? What do I choose to create from? Very, very powerful process. Does it take time? You better believe it. And isn't it worth it to cleanse your mental body, to choose the empowering beliefs, the empowering thoughts, and then create from that place of true alignment? So this is also a part of co-creation of your reality, is examining your mind. I have never met anybody masterful who is not committed into mastering their mind, right? Mastering their focus, mastering their, the quality of their thoughts. It's a very exciting process. At first it feels like, oh my goodness, can I really do it? but then it becomes a really powerful and inspiring focus. So you don't allow yourself to worry because you know it's a waste of your time, it's a waste of your potential. Instead of worrying, you can create, right? Instead of worrying, you can serve. Instead of worrying, you can get inspired and inspire others. I have found, you know, when we focus on being of service to others, of doing something for others in a way that is unique to you, in a way that is unique to us, there is no time for worry. There is no room for worry, right? And so it's an exciting and a dynamic way to live, where you say, I choose to co-create my reality. And then another simple practice, beloveds, is to learn to listen to your guidance within, right? And this is something that is becoming so important, to still your mind and to become very, very discerning what you let in. Like, it's such a joy to spend this time with you, because I know you are here to become masterful creators of your reality, and you are choosing to invest your time and your focus in listening to these reminders, these mystical reminders, right? So you become very, very discerning, almost like, don't be afraid to become deaf to the noise, deaf to the collective drama, deaf to the collective noise. You have to become a sort of deaf to that in order for you to begin to listen to the voice of your soul. And at first it will require discipline, it will require effort, and it will require a daily practice. This is why, so many people resonate with meditation, or they resonate with yoga, or they resonate with chanting. All of those are tools to help us accomplish what? To help us still the mind, so we can begin to hear the voice of the heart, or the voice of your soul, right? Looks like we got our internet is going a little bit better right now. It's such a surrender. If you're like me, if you do live streams, it's I love this technology. It's my favorite way to be of service. And we get to surrender and trust. Sometimes we have strong internet, sometimes internet becomes choppy. I'm grateful I have an internet, right? I'm so grateful that I have the live stream opportunity, beloveds. But that's, why do you think I seek every opportunity to go to nature, to take sabbaticals, and then to take groups of people with me? It's because I have this very powerful intention to assist people in disconnecting from this noise that disempowers our ability to believe in our dreams and to create our dreams and to hold the vision and to cultivate our frequency. This is why I often share nature is the best teacher, right? Leave your phone at least once a day. Leave your phone somewhere in a different room and walk to a place of a nature, tree, river, right? A forest, where you can hear the sounds of nature. It will cleanse your mind. It will refresh your soul. And it will also help you hear the guidance that is exactly for you, right? That you can take the next step that will guide you to the spontaneous fulfillment of your deepest intention. Yes, very, very powerful process. So then, what else I promised to share with you today on this live stream? Creating through joy. Look, There is a time and space to create from pressure, to create from suffering. Yes, there's a time and space to do that. And then there's a time and space where you say, I have learned how to create through pain, through suffering, and through pressure or through competition, right? I want to learn in a different way. Well, beloveds, the way of learning to manifest through joy is a beautiful path that is available to everybody who dares to try it. It takes innocence of the heart, right? And it takes that devotion to say, well, what actually lights me up? Where is my joy? You know, when I was contemplating on what's important to do to create in year 2020, I asked myself one question. What will bring me deepest joy to create this year? And I wrote down 4 things that I heard, right? 4 ideas flashed on the screen of my consciousness, and I captured them because I don't trust my memory entirely. I capture what I hear, I write it down in a journal, and then I post it somewhere I can see it. So I remember this is my compass. Because when you ask yourself, what would bring me joy, right? It's not this fleeting moment of happiness. Joy will sustain you. Joy is like this fountain of delight within you. Joy will orient you to the path of least resistance, to the path of your deepest inspiration. So dare to ask yourself, what bring me joy to create, right? And it doesn't mean that you not gonna need to do any work, right? I love working for what brings me joy. But you know, to me, work, it doesn't feel like work. It doesn't feel like this heavy lifting and all of this. It's just a delightful, devotional, creative engagement in the process, right? So ask yourself, what would bring me joy to create? And this is the vibration of the new earth frequency, where when you align deeper and deeper what brings you joy to create, you are aligning to the path of synchronicity. What does it mean? Being at the right place at the right time, connecting with the right person who gives you this next step, right, to the fulfillment of your deepest desire and your intention. But if you are forcing yourself to do something that you think will sell or will give you an applause or will give you a recognition, you're going against the flow, against the inspiration of your soul. I know it sounds so basic, but it's a good reminder. It's a good reminder that it's time to enroll in a curriculum that it's called Let Me Create Through Joy. Let me play with possibilities. Let me actually align my consciousness to what is truly lights me up from within. So when you ask yourself what will bring me joy, this is a creation by design. This is not a creation through default. You know what it looks like, creation through default? You wake up and you're like, oh my God, here I am. Here I am. It's another day, right? And I'm going through the motions. This is a creation through default. Creation through intention takes that rebellious sense of daring, takes that willingness to say, I am going to trust deeper than ever today. I am going to allow myself to express my heart frequency more than I've ever done, right? It's that ability to like turn yourself on, right? With your willingness to believe in the beauty of your dreams. And we go back to the 4 steps: desire, intention, allowance, surrender. Desire, intention, allowance, surrender. What do you desire to create this month? Right? And when you come to your deepest answer, you will feel moved emotionally. I think that's what it is. Okay, I'm learning. Hi, lovelies. You know what? For my fellow live streamers, this is hilarious because, okay, so if you live stream straight from the desktop, if you make your video full screen, it takes too much resolution, and that's why it becomes blurry. But if you make your video low screen, yeah, I'm just gonna surrender and let go. Just surrender and let go. You know, it's such an interesting process. Looks like, okay, I'm going back. I'm going back here. All right, darlings. So the mystical Monday, we came here to create. We came here to create. And you know what? Living through joy and living through trust of your creative vision. If a vision is given to you, or you put the time to dig deep inside your soul to excavate the vision that is yours to bring forward, that is a more correct answer. Rarely the vision descends on us if we don't dare to reach for it, to ask for it, to almost demand it, right? In a good way. I often use this example that it took me 10 years to find my true path in life. You know, and I remember there were days and months and even years where I had severe doubt attacks, right? And it was so painful to feel that this lifetime is meaningful, it's important, that I'm meant to create something inspiring, but not knowing where my path was. And you know why it took 10 years? It took 10 years to prepare for my consciousness. But what it taught me is the power of never stop asking the question, what is my vision? What is important for me to create? Why is this year so powerful? Why is this decade powerful? If you dare to ask the question, you will be given an answer. And if you dare to allow how that answer will come, right? From the place of this inner fluidity, without bitterness, without entitlement, right? But with this soft allowance, this fluidity, trusting that if you ask the question, entire universe is listening to your question and preparing an answer in the perfect time, in the perfect way, when your consciousness is ready to receive that answer. Yeah. Release your creative mind. Melissa says, release your creative mind. Isn't it so beautiful that we have that ability to dream and then to listen to the guidance that comes from within, and then take one step forward on that guidance? You know, I see the profound grace in our lives that we are not shown our entire path right away, because if we only saw the fullness of our potential, I promise you it would scare 99% of the people. If we truly could glimpse what is possible when we activate our abilities to create, to manifest, to dream, to serve, to express, right? It would terrify most of us. We would run away from our own potential. So, by the grace of your higher self and the grace of my higher self, we are given these flashes into our possibilities, just enough to excite our willingness, just enough to ignite our courage, and just to ignite our devotion. So, another perspective I'd love to leave you with, beloveds, is this all of this conversation about manifestation, about co-creation of your reality, all of that becomes powerful when we surrender to our soul, right? When we surrender to our soul. I love how Richard Rudd talks about 3 stages of our evolution: survival, service, surrender, right? So when we go through the space of awakening of our heart, living through our soul essence more than our ego, personality, or survival, these mystery teachings begin to find us, because there is a high chance we're not going to abuse them. We're not going to manifest just for our egoic purposes, right? We begin to co-create our dreams because we know we have the most powerful ally, and it's our soul. So I just wanted to leave you with that, because that's the essence of the Mystical Mondays, to remind all of us to choose the power of our intention, our ability to focus our mind, and to create our reality through desire, intention, allowance, and surrender. And one of those steps can come super easy for you or natural, and one of those steps can be a little bit more challenging to practice, right? So for example, for me, it's been all about the allowance, right? This is such a deep curriculum: receptivity and allowance, being fluid, being flexible with what the path shows you. And all it takes, loves, is the trust of your path, trust of where your heart is guiding you, and continue to practice these very, very simple principles, and to choose to learn to create your reality through joy. It's a choice, right? It's truly a choice, beloveds, where you say, you know what? I'm willing to learn how to create through joy. I'm willing to trust that when my heart is open, when my consciousness is at peace, and I am willing to weave my beautiful, beautiful dreams in service to the whole, I can do it through joy. Alana says, Alana or Aluna Rose. Such a beautiful, soulful conversation. Thank you, sweetheart. Thank you so much. And somebody from Pakistan, Fayaz, how to find a best soulmate? A question. Okay, so let's do a few questions here. How to find a best soulmate? Isn't that a question that all of us will ask at one point in our life? And here's my answer, dear Fayaz. The most powerful way to create anything, to find anything, to become anything, is to create it from within. So instead of searching for something outside of yourself, you want to become the most incredible soulmate you can be. So you create your reality, whatever you desire: abundance, soulmate love, dream business, dream location. You become a match to it by developing the qualities. What are the qualities of the soulmate you desire to find? You list 5 top qualities, and then you begin to do the most powerful work, developing those qualities within. And then by the law of attraction, you magnetize what you have within, what you embody within, right? So that's my answer. How do you find your soulmate? You become a soulmate. And then you magnetized the most complementary match to what you create from within. Yeah. Yes, I love you, beloveds. It's such a powerful time. We live in a powerful time. Yes, Clara, so good to see you. It's the same thing when people say, how do I work with higher level clients? Right? It's the same process. It's time for you to become a higher level client. So you become a magnet to what you desire to create. Yes, Georgina says, can you please share the second and third stages of evolution? You got it, darling. First stage, survival. Second, service. Third, surrender. And just briefly, survival is what we all begin, right? We believe in a separate self. We believe opportunities are limited. We have to claw our way through the jungle of life. Remember that stage? Service is when our heart begins to open, usually through a heartbreak or some kind of a dark night of the ego. Our ego gets cracked, and we begin to open our awareness, and we begin to ask ourselves, wow, maybe this life is not about just me. Maybe it's about others. Maybe it's about me and my unity and collaboration with others. So you begin to long to be of service in your unique way. And surrender is a beautiful mystical stage where you realize you are an instrument in the hands of the one great spirit, right? If at the second stage you still think you like, I create my reality, and yes you do, it's a good stage to be in, right? But the third stage, you're not really interested in that conversation. You're interested to be the most flexible, the most harmonious, the most available instrument for the great artist, right? So your personal will is in surrender to the higher will, which is beautiful because when you allow great spirit to channel its vision through you, your life becomes a masterpiece of what's possible when the divine channels her power through you, right? So that's why surrender is a very active mystical experience. Yeah, it's a very active mystical experience where you live in this active listening, right? Listening. And beloved, it's a very practical practice that I offer to you is how I start my day. I start my day by waking up and going outside and touching the earth, bowing to the earth and saying, thank you, Great Spirit, for one more day. How can I be of service to you? What is your plan for today? What is important for you to create through me today? And you listen. And the answers come, right? Chris, hi. Do you see the Gracies in the background? I'm so happy to spend some time with you with the questions. Chris, law of attraction is no longer a conversation in the surrender phase. That's a good question, Chris. Law of attraction, think about law of attraction is like a law of gravity. It's a natural spiritual law that will always be in effect, right? So in a surrender phase, it is an important conversation because in the surrender phase, you naturally will be interested in purifying and refining your vibration. Why? Because you understand it's a very like Tao approach, where you know that you are part of the whole. You are a part of this mandala that is called life. So, in the third stage of surrender, your aim, your focus is how do I remain in coherence, in harmony? So, it's a question of harmony, Chris, right? It's because you don't want to create interference. You want to be, this is why in the surrender stage you naturally spend more time in contemplation. Simplicity becomes attractive to you, right? It's more of a question of being, right? You begin to appreciate that every time you dive in within and you come into coherence, into harmonious resonance, you live in a spontaneous fulfillment of your intentions. It's a beautiful process. And then, you know, life is not linear, life is cyclic, it's very spiral in nature. So there's going to be this kind of a spiral. You go from survival, service, surrender, and then there is always a new layer. There is always a deeper way to really anchor these frequencies, right? There's a deeper way to go. So it's a beautiful process of an ongoing expansion of consciousness, ongoing deepening of you embodying this, right? And ongoing, my favorite word, are you ready for this? Ongoing flowering. Flowering. We are meant to bloom, and we bloom when we are in joy, when we are in trust, when we are in, you know, this spontaneous giving of our talents, of our light, of our presence, right? So continue to bloom, beloveds. I love spending this time with you, and it looks like we figured it out how to have a clear transmission. So if you don't have any more questions, we're gonna land this plane. It's so good to be back with you, beloveds. It's so good to be back with you. A couple announcements. I am planning to host a full moon spiritual healing and spiritual activation kind of an online ceremony. It's gonna happen in 11 days. I have hiccups. So you see the human aspect. So it's gonna happen in 11 days, and all the proceeds will go to my philanthropic venture called Wise Elders Foundation. I will make this event very affordable, and I will announce when it's ready to sign up. It's a really powerful way to come together, to set our intentions, to cleanse our energy bodies. On the full moon is the most powerful time of the month, is the full moon. So when we harness that energy and do it collectively, all our intentions are magnified 100 times. So this is the reason why in ancient times people would gather in the temples of nature, on the top of the hills, in the meadows, by the river, by the ocean, and they would do it in communities because they knew these ancient principles of co-creating our reality with nature. On this note, thank you, thank you, thank you for spending this quality time with me. Remember to choose joy. Choose joy. It's available to you. It doesn't cost a cent. It can be accessed only from within. And it's a beautiful, profound self-mastery curriculum. So if you're ready to dive into learning to create through joy, it's available to you. And it just, all it takes is to choose it, and to choose it again, and to choose it again, and bring joy to others through your vibration. I love you. I'll see you very soon.